made $5,000 on spoons.
He fucking hates Gary Vee.
I can't.
I'm an 18-year-old kid. There's this guy telling me he could teach me how to make 10 grand a month on the internet doing whatever the fuck. Would you tell him to pursue that, or to go get a job like we started?
I'd ask you how the holidays were, but I was around for a bunch of it, and I heard about the rest. I don't think anybody else needs to hear.
That's not for the podcast.
Yeah, the work party was fun. Everybody got too crazy, dude. We had to literally shut it down.
Our boys don't know how to drink.
No, that was crazy.
None of them.
Leo called me over for a shot of tequila and handed me a red Solo cup with that much tequila at the bottom of it. I was like, no, this is everyone's tequila.
Uh-huh.
We had to actually kick everyone out. We were talking about it. We said to each other like 5 different times, we're like, what do we do? Like, what are we supposed to do? Shoeless guys dancing in the rain.
Yeah, normally a work party is just, you have fun, and then everyone gets out of there
at a reasonable time.
They would have stayed till 4 a.m.
Yeah, so he walked up to me and goes, hey, dude, it's just over. Go turn the fucking music off. He started shutting the doors. I shut the music off. Everybody's like...
Yeah, because everyone migrated outside, so I just shut the garage door. I was like, all right, time to go. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Made sure everyone had Ubers, obviously. Oh, we had to end it.
Had to shut it down. Too much fun.
All right, so what are we talking about today?
I guess what I was thinking would be fun to talk about is like, or not even fun to talk about, just a part of what I guess starting a life in a trade is like at what point you realized that it was, whether or not it was for you. Because like I said before, we both did it as like teenagers or kids in the summer or whatever. I hated it then, but I was also 14 and didn't want to work on the weekend. But then I had an office job after high school, and I was like, oh, I've never hated anything more than this. And then I got back into the trade, and it was like, I was probably like 2 months in when I was like, oh, this is the best. And it was just because like one day at work, our foreman showed up, and it was like hot as shit that day. I was on a ladder. He zip tied my legs to the ladder, and they turned a washer box, like the thing that sprays the water into your washing machine. They turned it on me, and I couldn't get out. I was strapped to a 6-foot ladder, and I was just getting lit up. So I fell, ladder fell, cut the ankles off it. We chased each other around, super soakers, water balloons, had a water fight at work for the last like 2 hours, got kicked off the job, and I was driving home sopping wet, and I was like, dude, I just got paid for a water fight for 2 hours. I was like, this is the best job ever.
And that's really when you're like, this is the best?
No, that's not. That was just like one early example where I was like, oh, this is way different than any job. It wasn't like that was the only time, but I was like, I've never done anything like that it was only 2 years out of high school that I worked other jobs, but I was like, I've never had like a ball at work. It was like, for real, just a bunch of dudes fucking around, throwing shit at each other. We got screamed. Dude, it was a 3-story new construction stick-framed building. So it was 12 apartments, 6 and 6. And he turned the washer box on me on the 3rd floor. And the GC started screaming from outside, what the fuck are you doing? We walked down the steps, and the 2nd and 1st floor, it's like waterfalls through the plywood floors, through the framing. He's like, you fucked this whole building. It's so funny.
That's like not cool, though.
Not at all, dude. No way. OSB floors and shit. It was a bad look.
Yeah, like if our guys had a water fight on top of a roof with the roof open,
it'd be history.
Yeah, that's no good, dude.
Yeah, he was he's like, you better pray it dries out over the weekend, screaming at my foreman. He's like, oh, shut up. It was like hearing people like be assholes to each other. Nobody's actually in trouble. It's definitely actually drawing to do. But I remember driving home in my 2001 Camry, sopping wet. Like, dude, that was so fun. And that's the type of shit I feel like you never get. I mean, there's fun stuff at work for everyone, I guess. But like that shit, I think only exists in that field, I think.
So you think that's what kept you around in the beginning, when it's just a bullshit, shitty job that you don't really like that much?
Yeah, like the ability to just like be a regular 20-year-old kid was like to not have to pretend to be somebody else at work. Like sitting in like an office meeting, I would for real sit there and feel like, is everybody talking about in here? Like I didn't relate to any of it. But then like getting to work and like dudes keep footballs in their vans and shit, and like, downtime is fun time a lot of the time. I was like, oh, this is like more my speed of
the characters in Blue Collar is like You don't find that anywhere else. I always remember that, being like a 16-year-old kid and there's some 24-year-old dude just fucking making jokes, being a fucking idiot, making everybody laugh. Like, that shit's cool.
Yeah, and like being a menace to the old guys because he knows what he's doing now, but he's not new, so he's like,
Exactly that. Exactly.
Dude, my foreman on that same job site used to walk by the fat old guys sitting on their buckets working and slide a Sharpie down the crack of their hands. I'd be like, dude, you're a nightmare. But he was the foreman. He knew what he was doing. It was fine.
You feel like you knew it was for you when you started to have fun at work?
Yeah, like I felt like that was... Like, I worked with some friends at that office job, but, like, it wasn't like people at work became my friends at the office job. Like, there were people I knew who worked there, and we would, like, go on smoke break together, lunch break together. That was one thing. But, like, there were the guys at the first construction job I had was the first time I met all new dudes and, like, buddied up with people just based on, like, you know, fucking around and goofing off and, you know, still learning shit, like harassment on being a pussy and, you know, not getting work done. That's like what growing up with brothers is.
There's something to be said about it being all men, too. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just like boys in the locker room.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are fucking idiots. You're laughing about dumb shit. You're having fun. That's what the locker room was.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
So there's something to that. But not even blue-collar related, any company who's going to decide, like, we're going to have fun here. We're going to have fun. We're not going to be super uptight because we do that in our office.
Right.
That shit goes a long way, man, because if it's not super, like tight and the air's thick and everybody's so serious all the time, nobody's going to be comfortable.
Yeah, I'm incapable of walking in the office and no one saying anything and not being like, what the fuck's going on in here? Like, somebody upset? What happened?
That's important.
Yeah.
That's important for building the culture, because if everyone always has fun all the times, when times get hard and it sucks a little bit, they know it's not permanent and just like, all right, we're fucking working.
I like it. Everybody does it too. Like, I was sitting at my desk, I guess it was yesterday or the day before, whatever it was, and I heard Rick come in the front door and just his like greetings for everybody. He's like such a sweetheart. He makes sure he says hi to everybody. And I'm sitting there, I was like, damn, dude, everybody likes coming in.
Dude, how about Brooklyn Rick going to Okeechobee the other day? Dude, I was sitting in my office, and I can't see Sam, but I hear her go, oh, my God, Rick's the fucking best. And I was like, what? She's like, listen to what he just texted me. Sam, where the fuck you sending me this Texas Chainsaw Massacre shit?
For anybody who doesn't know what Okeechobee is, it's the center of Florida. It's a lot of it anyhow, is very, like, old Florida. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a lot of, like, the house where we're doing out there is a very nice house. But, like, you drive by a lot of very... He was like, I drove by a fucking house, no door on the hinges, woman barefoot just smoking cigarettes. I was like...
Dude, he was on a video call with Sam. He's like, look, there's no house numbers, there's no nothing. They could kill me. Nobody's going to know where I'm at. I don't know what road I'm on.
Dude, going from Brooklyn to Miami to West Palm to suddenly Okeechobee, he was probably like... What the fuck is it?
He probably called his wife.
Honey, I'm not sure I'm going to make it home tonight.
He's like, you could drop me in any inner city, anywhere. I don't give a fuck. I don't fuck with this shit, yo.
Oh, man. Yeah. He took it on the chin, though. Mm-hmm. It's a different speed there for sure.
Yeah, then I told him to take pictures of the house to show them to me because I had to get shit ready.
Uh-huh.
And I started looking at pictures of the house. It's like a beautiful house.
Yeah.
I'm like, Rick, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, nah, but you didn't see the way here. You didn't see the way here.
Yeah, that's an interesting Florida thing. When you get to the farm country, it's like you'll just drive by, for real, like huts and sheds that are houses, and then you'll see a ranch with like a fucking 12,000 square foot mansion just plopped in the middle of nowhere.
Because, dude, some people like to live like that. I used to think that's what I wanted to do.
I could be about it in a state where August doesn't feel like August feels here. The only thing that makes here, like where we live, tolerable in August is the oceans here. Mm-hmm. They're in the middle of the mosquitoes, brother, have got to be fucking nuts.
I can't imagine. Nah, to me, that's weird. You got to be around people. I like people. I like to socialize.
Yeah, but you're fucking 32. 31? How old are you?
31.
Yeah, when you're 60, you might rather a little bit of a pace change.
Okeechobee, bro.
I don't know. We're also from like a suburb of a major metropolitan area. Mm-hmm. And then we both lived in the major metropolitan area. That's like, some people are born in Okeechobee.
Dude, if you think I'm not walking down the beach in a Speedo in Miami when I'm 60, you're crazy.
Dude, you're going to look like shit when you're 60. No,
I'm going to look great. What do you mean?
You're going to lose one of them legs to gout. You keep eating steak like you do.
Nothing wrong with that. Get a prosthetic. Slide my
I thought you were going to say prostitute. Nothing wrong with that. Get a prostitute, 1 foot on the beach. Everything's good.
Prosthetic and a prostitute.
Man, do you feel like you had a time where you were like, oh, this is obviously the path? Because you worked like not necessarily an office job. Doesn't have to be like an aha moment, but like
I never had an office job.
Yeah, but you did that internship for the hospitality job.
Right, but that was like working in casinos and working, which I thought for a little bit that's what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Not that path was going to end up working out for me anyway. But I did think that's what I wanted to do. And then I realized we're just working when everyone else is partying. Friday, Saturday, holidays, like you're working.
It's not sustainable, dude.
I realized that. And I'm like, why would, they're all having fun. I'm not having fun. I'm at work. Just because you're in the place where fun is being had doesn't mean it is fun. So I realized that wasn't for me. But but when I roofed before, I wasn't necessarily into it. I liked working hard. I liked feeling good about working hard. But I wasn't into it. Like, this is the shit I want to do. Never. Mm-hmm. And then I ended up here, and I was broke out of rehab. I needed to make money, and I knew I could make money roofing, so I started roofing. And I continued roofing. I started a business because I didn't want to work for other people, but not even like, oh, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. Like, even the day I started my business, if you had asked me, are you still going to be roofing in 5 years? I wouldn't have an answer for you.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until we did the one commercial job in my first year. It was
Which one was that?
You weren't here, but it was like it was one big condo building. I think the roof cost like $120,000. I made like $30,000 on it, and after that job, I realized I made $30,000, and I was like, "Holy shit!" And then from that point on, I was like, "All right, I'm gonna make a run at it." So that was it for me.
Yeah, I guess that's as good an aha moment as there is. Working at any other job, you never finish up and there's $30,000.
Yeah, and I was roofing then too. Like I roofed on that job.
Yeah.
So like I was just the roof guy, roofing with my guys. But then this job I finished, and I had an extra $30,000 in the bank account, and like I never seen money like that before.
Yeah.
So that's when I realized like, I can actually make a real business here and do something.
Similar to that was, I always just got paychecks. Like I would get paid for a day of work or whatever. When I worked for cash doing construction, I would get a paycheck from the office job. It was like, they give me like $340 at the end of the week. And then
that's the real number?
The one that I quit, yeah. The first year I made $340 a week. The second year I made like $362 a week.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I was making $760 bi-weekly. So like,
what is it? What was your were you hourly?
I don't remember. I think like $11.40 an hour.
That's what that adds up to?
I don't remember.
No way.
It was less than $11.40 an hour before I got my 60-cent raise that made me quit. So there's that for you.
How long were you working there before they gave you a 60-cent raise?
So I worked there for like 4 months, and then there was like the changeover of the year. So they gave me a review, and like the first raise was like 21 cents. And I was like, all right, I did fuck off these first 4 months.
That's offensive. Dude.
Yeah.
Don't even give me a fucking raise. Keep
it.
21 cents?
Keep it.
Why well, that's decimals. I can't even do the math.
Yeah.
What is that a week? What does that after a week? $1?
40 cents. So I was like, all right, I obviously, and I knew that I was fucking off at this job when I started. Mm-hmm. Like they wanted you to do like whatever it was, 100, I forget what it was called, but like 100 of these things into the system a day. Mm-hmm. And I would finish every day, like 60 of them. Uh-huh. And I did fuck off the whole time. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, all right, well, I can't make.
Hold on. What were you, like, so you weren't doing the set allotted work you were supposed to do.
Uh-huh.
What were you doing instead? You're still in the office.
I was a menace.
Like you were out of your desk. Fuck. What were you doing?
Yeah. I would just dip out and like leave. They didn't. A lot of the stuff changed shortly after my first 4 months went by, because they brought a new guy in to like do production management. But I would just leave my desk indefinitely. I'd go to the cafeteria and just hang. I'd wander around. It was my high school girlfriend's mom got me the job.
Oh, yeah.
And we had been broken up, and I still worked there. And I didn't do anything for most of the first 4 months. Like, I would just disappear with my phone and listen to music and fuck off. And then we had like some friends who worked there. Anyway, not important who.
So you're just hanging.
I was just hanging. Yeah. And like, for what it's worth, if they wanted 100 of these things done a day, effort would have got me 200, no problem. It was effort not to get 100. Like, I was like, but if I get 100, they're gonna tell me 115 next month. Like, so I was like, just stay close. I'm working really hard to get there. Then I was like, all right, I got to try some because I can't make $10.30 an hour, whatever it is. But yeah, that's what that equates to. It's a 40-hour week, right? My $400 paycheck and then taxes. So that's my $300. Dude, that's terrible.
That's crazy.
40 hours of your life a week.
You can go to the grocery store one time.
Yeah, you can't get paid that anymore. Anyway, so I put effort in.
People do still get paid that. What
I
is
know.
minimum wage?
More. I think
It's higher?
Yeah,
What is
yeah.
it?
I think it's like I don't know what it is. It's state by state, but I think it's like $12.50 right now. It's a good thing we don't have enough listeners for somebody to comment and say, "Tell Matt to shut the fuck up. He doesn't know what he's talking about." Anyway, I was like, I need to get serious. I'm gonna try. Started to knock my numbers out. They gave me like accounts to keep an eye on, and like there were people who worked on them, and I kind of like, you know, it wasn't like I was like anybody's boss or anything, but I kept an eye on certain things. And then I got my second annual review, and they were like, here's, like, I think it was like, I think it was 56 cents or something like that.
Oh, gee, thanks.
Yeah, I walked out of my supervisor's office to my desk and called my stepsister's now ex-husband and was like, yo, are you guys hiring? Because I knew he worked for an HVAC company. And he was like, yeah, I'll set you up with the boss. I went and saw Joe 2 days after that, and I gave my 2 weeks, and that was it. And I didn't finish my 2 weeks.
So Joe was meeting every hire at that point? Did he always?
No. No.
Like a little shit like you rolls in and Joe's gonna meet you?
That's what you mean. Yes. When you said meeting every hire, I thought you meant like meeting everybody who wants a job. No, he was only hiring people with experience. I kind of upped my experience a little so I could get a pay raise. I got hired at $14.50 an hour.
Speaking of upping your experience, I did roofing in Philly.
Uh-huh.
I knew a lot about it. I had never like ran a crew that did a full roof before. Like I pretty much knew everything, but also not really. But when I came down here, I collected a crew from an AA meeting and went and got roofing jobs from roofing companies as if we were a real roofing crew. I was like, you know, not a real foreman ever. I'd never been one before. And I had guys that never been on a roof before.
But you knew how to roof. You could do a full roof.
Yeah, but there was things that would jam me up that I would have to like, save.
Like, damn, we start these shingles at the top or the bottom?
Nah, just like goofy shit. And I would like, all right, we'll save this one for tomorrow. And I would go home and be YouTube and shit, thinking about how I'm gonna do this tomorrow. And even like,
I feel like there was less on YouTube then too.
Like a lot of like. Maybe some like carpentry. I can't think of a specific example, but I wasn't like an expert roofer.
Right.
But I was the only one on the crew that knew anything, so I was the expert. But I just
somebody paid you $100,000 to put a roof on a condo with a bunch of sleepy AA guys.
Nah, that was that was way past that. I had a real roofing crew at that point, and I was like 2 or 3 years in. No, but that first roofer, dude, and we were his best crew. I remember we had done like...
Hey, that's as good a point to all these fucking kids considering getting out there. One dipshit and how many guys who don't know what they're doing, and somehow you're the best roofing crew.
Yeah.
The fucking industry is suffering. Learn, get good, and get paid. That's how it works.
We had done like 7 roofs. And I remember he called me in the office the one Monday morning. He's like, hey, we have this really important customer coming up. It's a really tough 2-story roof. He's like, I want to give it to you. Like, I trust you with it. And I walked out there. He's like, you fucking trust me?
I'm a fucking dipshit, brother.
I remember that job. It fucking poured rain every day at 11:30. So it was just a bunch of half days. And every day at 11:30, we had to go on the ground. It was a 2-story roof. All the trash was coming down. Steep 2-story roof. Every day at 11:30, we had to go on the ground in the pouring rain and pick up all the fucking shingles. I mean, you know pouring rain now because you live in Florida. Pouring fucking rain. And then we had to drive an hour and a half home. Everybody was just silent, soaking wet, tired.
Anyway, back to what sent that tangent off was I was used to getting a 40-hour paycheck that was dismal. And then I started working as an HVAC guy, just an installer. my paychecks were a little better. They were like $500 a week or whatever it was. But then I started to get a little better, and my boss would do cash jobs on the weekends, meaning he would ask 2 guys to come in, do a replacement, like a heater swap out, and he would pay you cash. And my first day as a helper on a weekend job, he gave me $400. And I was like, I just got paid almost my week's paycheck on a Saturday. And I was like, holy shit.
Side jobs were the shit.
Yeah.
Side jobs were the shit.
And then the first time I did an actual side job myself, I knew what Joe was charging for heater replacements. I never even bought equipment. I didn't know how much equipment cost. Somebody called me. It was like an old guy. It was actually a guy I did work for in Manayunk for Joe. He called me and was like, hey, I need a heater looked at for one of my tenants. He's like, can you go over? I'm like, sure. So I go over. I give him a verbal price based off of what I know Joe charges for equipment. Now, Joe charges for like premium, like very nice equipment. He's a high-end dealer. So they agreed to it. It was like $8,800 I charged them for it. I got all the material for like $1,800, and then I paid Sawyer $500 to come help me. So I'm $2,300 into it, and it was like 3 days before Christmas. We did it at nighttime. After the Christmas party from work, I went and did this replacement. And I was like, I just made $6,000 in 3 hours. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? And that was the one where I was like, I got to figure something out. I got to start telling people I do it. I do it on the side, offering people. Like Denny was a carpenter. I would have Denny cut new construction houses out for me. I would go there on a Thursday after work. I'd mark all the holes, all the chases that I needed through the walls. And I'd send Denny in with a Sawzall and a circular saw, and he'd cut the whole house out for ductwork. But like, I didn't know any of that shit was what it was until... Like, I didn't know anybody was making $6,000 in 3 hours doing HVAC replacements. I was like, holy shit, no permit, no big to do, just in and out, and then you scrap the material and you're done.
Yeah, I know a ton of guys that do great that just have a normal job. They work Monday through Friday, and they do side jobs every weekend.
Yeah, that was it. That was what I was doing.
You could double your paycheck on a Saturday.
When you came out to Pennsylvania, that's what I was doing. I would do like a replacement or 2, if I was lucky to, a month. And I wouldn't even do them. I would order all the equipment, send it all, and I would pay my brothers or guys to do them. And then I would try to do like a new construction house every, month or 2. And I would make an extra $60,000 a year on the side.
If you get rolling in a side job and you're just a blue collar guy and you don't even want a business, you don't want, because that's a whole different thing. You think like, oh, I made all this money on a Saturday. Let me just go out my home. Well, now there's all these other expenses that you're not thinking.
There's a lot of different stuff.
Now it's something different. But if you just want to be the worker and do a job every Saturday, do a side job every other Saturday, you could potentially double your fucking income through the side work.
Easily.
And then you're killing it.
Yeah.
And then you're cushy. Maybe you're making 100 from your job, but you make like 50 to 100 on the side.
Yeah, I don't know what every trade does and what they can make on the side, but I would make on replacement days like $2,000 to $3,000 on a Saturday, twice a month, and then I was making 75 a year. Like I was fine.
Dude, it's the same because I would do roofs on Saturdays. Before I had my license and I was just roofing, the homeowners can do an owner builder permit.
Right.
So like you know a guy from an AA meeting, which is a lot where my shit came from. He needs a roof. You have the guy pull the permit. You help him out with it. You do his roof on a Saturday, and it's the same thing. You can make $6,000 on a Saturday.
You don't see it. You don't see people doing it as much. Like every now and then, there's a guy at work who does it, and you're like, "Oh, I should be." I didn't know anyone who was doing it like that. Like everybody would just work for Joe on the weekends, but Joe, like I said, he'd give you so the lead guy would get like $600-800. Whoever the helper was would get like $400. So like he had the happiest technicians in the world. Any Saturday you wanted, you could ask if he could do a replacement. He'd be like, okay, sure. And he would call and offer customers cash prices. He always liked to have a little cash on and buy a little. So he kept everybody happy that way. So it wasn't like everybody was out chasing side work, but we started going after it for sure.
Yeah.
And then that builder who was one of the guys who got me that first replacement called me and asked me if I wanted to start like working. He was doing multifamily in Philly. And that was the first new. I should have had a helmet on for that fucking project, dude. Everything I did, because I worked only in Montgomery County. What's the main line in the county? Whatever, it doesn't matter. Chester County, like suburb. I never worked in the city of Philadelphia. I had 3 condos of ductwork in, and the inspector popped up and shut the whole job down.
Why?
Everybody. I had no permit. So he calls me. He's like, dude, where's your permit? I was like, what? Permit. He's like, you don't have a permit for the job, man? I was like, I can be honest with you here. I was like, I understand you're upset. I didn't know I needed one. Okay, so I go and I take my OSHA. I forget what the OSHAs are. It's like 20 and 30 or 15 and 30.
I did OSHA 30 a long time ago.
Well, whatever they are. You need the long.
You know why I had to do OSHA 30? I was on the phone for a workers' comp audit. And he's asking me all these questions. I was sitting in my truck, I remember. I remember exactly where I was. And I'm answering all these questions. It's like an interview. They have to ask you all these questions. And at one point, he says, do all your guys tie off up on the roof?
Every time. No brainer.
I'm like, yeah, of course. He goes, oh, so what are all these pictures on Google of all these guys on roofs with no harnesses? I was like,
I'm like, what? Those guys? Those guys all time.
I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't deal with the marketing. Someone else must have took. I'm not really sure.
I wasn't there. It's better than the lie you told last week.
So I just realized what you just said. So I had to do like an OSHA 30 course as part of like why the insurance company would keep me. So that's why I remember what OSHA 30 is. But that's also why I tell her, take it easy with those.
Yeah.
With those pictures.
Anyway, they told I was like, all right, I'll pull a permit, whatever. I have my license, I have my EPA license. I'm like, I'm good. I go to try to pull a permit at L&I licenses and inspections in Philadelphia, and I was like, oh, I don't know how to do anything. Mm-hmm. And they were mean bitches in there. Boy, they had no interest in issuing me a permit. They were like, do you have this? I'm like, what's that? And they were like, do you know where you are right now? I was like, I'm going to be totally honest with you. Not really, no. And she was like, she for real looked at me and was like, do you know where you are? And I was like, no. Like, don't you help people? And she had no time for me. Mm-hmm. So I left there and I called. My buddy Talon was doing work for the same guy. He did all his permits. His permits were apparently very simple. Mm-hmm. HVAC permits are different because there's gas and hot flue exhaust and all this shit. And I'm like, what the fuck? So the builder's calling me every single day. Every day. He's like, dude, no one's working. What's going on? No one's working. I was like, I'm working on it. Someone set me up with a permit expediter. This one, I had no idea was coming. I had to pay for a multifamily permit because it was a triplex. Mm-hmm. I bid the job so skinny, just thinking, like, if I get it, I'm off rolling. I might have made, when it was done, if I did it all right, I maybe would have made $3,000. Mm-hmm. It would only taken a week to do, but whatever. She hit me with the permit fee. It was like $1,500. I was like, fuck, dude, I'm going back to work. That's what I'm saying. Like, I should have had a helmet on. Everything I did, it was just like, boom, boom.
So the whole job was shut down until you were able to
The whole job was shut down for like 10 days. So nobody was working. Mm-hmm. And that was going to be like my main source of like new construction work. And I was like, he's done with me. I'm a fucking moron. Like, I'm an idiot. But I guess, I don't know. I guess it went smooth enough after that. Mm-hmm. I was like, dude, that's never going to happen again. I got an expediter now. I know what it costs. You're paying for the permit. I'm not paying for the permit. All right, well. So it came together, but it was just like, I had no business at first. I'm like, yeah, it's fucking
Nobody has any business at first. Like, think of all the dumb fucking mistakes I made. I remember going into building departments. You know, I found out later you can do everything online. Mm-hmm. No one was telling me that shit because I was doing the same thing. I was going into building departments, just being really nice, being very honest that I don't know what the fuck's going on. Can you tell me what I need to do? And some people were really nice. They'd be like, they'd hand me like a nice clean packet of all the forms I had to fill out with like little shit. They wrote in little instructions. And then other people were like, I don't know what to tell you. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, because you're for real inconveniencing the shit out of them. Like, they're at work. Everything's available online. And you should go up and go, can you do everything for me? Yeah, they're like, what, dude?
And I remember the day I realized that everything was online and it was just so much easier. I'm like, dude, I'm fucking running around to all these building departments, acting like a fucking idiot, dealing in physical paper. And you can just do it on a computer.
I don't know what it is now, but I know then you had to go to L&I. Like, that's why that girl charged so much, is she would go and sit there and get your permit. Mm-hmm. But, like, all the other ones were easy. Like, Lower Marion, it was, like, a big stink to get this permit. Like,
were they all requiring it?
Not everybody. Nobody in Montgomery County does. Nobody in Chester County does. Lower Marion Township did. Mm-hmm.
We weren't pulling roof permits.
Yeah. Well, a lot of my shit was like renovation work and new construction work, so it's not like never required a permit on a replacement. I've never had to pull a permit for a replacement.
Even in Philly.
Yeah, you just don't. But new construction renovation work you always did because everything got inspected. But then I had no idea. They told me I needed OSHA 30 unless it's more. I forget what it is, whatever the longest one is. So I had to finish that in the time that this guy's project was stopped. It's a 30-hour online course while I tried to fucking continue working.
He's calling you. Hey, dude, I got to get these guys back to work. You're like,
any minute.
18 more hours.
Dude, no. For real, Bridget sat in the house and clicked through all the courses all day while I was out at work, and I would come home and on one phone Google the answer and on the computer type it in. OSHA, you can't fucking get me, dude. And that's how I got it. I would have never gotten it in a week's time because we were still working all over the place. That wasn't the only job we were doing, but that was going to be like a high volume thing. It got sorted out. That girl stopped beating me up.
You going to the building department and not knowing what the fuck is going on and them kicking you out. So.
Dude, and I'm serious. It was the biggest, sassiest Philadelphia black lady of all time. She's like, what do you want? I'm like, I need a permit. She's like, okay, for what? I'm like, I forget what it's called. It's called like a hot air permit. I was like, it's a heating and air conditioning install. She's like, do you have your hot air? I was like, I don't know what that is. She was like, do you know where you are? I was like, oh my God, you're mean. I was like, I don't know anything. I'm new.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it was brutal. It was, but even that kind of stuff, like going back to like that, the old job versus working in the office versus when I started doing trade stuff, even like learning fucking things up in construction was still better than fucking things up over there. Like you could, people, you fuck something up, the guys you work with ragdoll you, dude. It's the best. But when somebody else fucks up, you get to do the same. That stuff's fun. You fuck up in an office job, they're like, Matt, I'm gonna need to see my office. Like, what's going on? Like, you paid $16,000 in work comp benefits to denied claims. And I'm like, that doesn't mean anything to me. I don't give a fuck. Am I fired? No, but you will be operating under supervision. Like,
That's so weird.
nice. Thanks.
That's so weird.
Yeah. It is weird, dude. Once an episode, dude.
Huh?
So far, at least once an episode.
What?
We just hit a spot where we both go. Mine's different than yours. I go, You go, And sometimes you hold your breath long enough to go, Leave it in.
Do you know he's right?
Well, I rewatched the episodes like 3 times to try to tell her what's good with them.
You gonna say something?
I feel like I've been saying a lot of somethings, dude. You got any somethings? You fresh out? I'll do some tooting. You'd be loaded up with somethings. The goal for this year.
To double again. We want to double again. How the fuck we gonna do that?
I don't know, but if I get this roof I met today, I'm on track for $9.3 million so far this year. The lady who called would make this week 106, and I called Bridget. I was like, I'm on track for $9.3 million. That's how you do it. $100,000 a week from 2 people.
Dude, $100,000 a week is not absurd.
It's attainable.
For one
I was thinking about it. I was thinking about it for so long today. It's so attainable.
Yeah, it really is.
I've got 2 people who are kicking the ball around right now. If they both would have went, it's easily obtainable without this $90,000 roof that's lingering in the back. Like if I got just the one I got plus the other 2 that I'm thinking of, I would already be at 55. And my appointments have been light this week.
What's the one you got?
Whoever signed up, I went, Rudy.
Yeah.
And then Tallman's supposed to sign up. He's approved for financing through us, but he's not getting back to me. And then I got another one who I think might go. I got to talk to the husband. But those 3 would equate to, I think, 55 or 60 grand.
Yeah.
And it's like, then you're just rolling.
Well, we added a salesperson. Sam's kind of getting rolling from the office. She's starting to sell more and more from the office, which is cool.
Yeah.
Rick's picking up. He's getting better at it.
Yeah.
And then if we can add some big commercial, we're like knocking on
It could for real be like 3 big commercial jobs outside of the type we did last year. Like if we added 3 big flat jobs, could be huge.
Yeah, I mean, we'll be knocking on the door. What kind of pieces do you think we would have to add? So say we are about to hit 20 million in December.
Yeah.
What's the support staff additions you think looks like to support that?
Runner guy, another one.
I want to add a kid under Kaysen who is another runner guy, but is also the load the trailers in the shop and learn from Kaysen guy.
Yeah.
That way you're like grooming someone under Kaysen. To kind of do like the bullshit side of Kaysen's job now. And Kaysen just teaches him while the kid runs and helps us out where he needs to help us out. Milton is trying to become 2 crews. I talked to him today.
Desperately?
He wants to have 2 15-man crews, so double what he is now, and just bounce back and forth.
Will he tear off the commercial flats?
Yeah, for sure.
Can he put him back on?
No, but Dean can follow him. Well, he can if it's torch down, but if it's TPO, Dean will just work with him. So Milton will tear off and Dean will follow him.
Okay.
But Milton wants to be 2 crews, and he knows he'll have to work for some other roofers. He's not expecting us to feed him that much work. But what I'm saying is we can feed him that much work. And if Milton doubles, and Leo's fucking 18 guys now, it's insane.
Yeah. The customer I did the walkthrough with yesterday afternoon was like, you guys are fucking unbelievable. I was like, thank you.
I told Glenn yesterday, because he had asked me, like the speed of a roof. He's like, say I saw like a 50 square, standing seam metal roof from start to finish, how quick? I'm like, dude, to be honest, we would tear it off in a day. The metal's going to get delivered the day after. We're usually there prepping it the day after the tear off. And
Meeting
then the
inspector.
and then the metal takes 1 day.
Yeah.
So literally 3 days. He's like, get the fuck out of here.
Well, that's the other
I'm
thing.
like, yeah, dude.
With the one I met today, I forget how big it is. I think like 60 square, 5E. She's like, how long does this take? Like 2-3 months? I was like, what the fuck? I was like, no, we'll tear off in a day if it gets hairy for whatever reason, day and a half. It's 2-story, whatever. I was like, but we'll install in, again, a day and a half. I said, there's an inspection and delivery in between that. I was like, all in all, we're out of your hair within, I would say, 8 to 10 days is safe to assume. I said, maybe sooner. And she was like, that's not what I'm hearing. I was like, well, I'm telling you. I was like, we're doing it right now, every day. But like I said, that neighborhood that I started in today, torn off for almost 3 weeks now. No prep work done, just sitting under paper. And they're pissed.
Those are the companies that are robbing Peter to pay Paul. And they're starting tear-offs to get money in the bank, to collect money so that they can finish other jobs. They're all fucked up. And, dude, there's a lot of roofers that do that.
Yeah.
The company that Glenn just came from does it. The company Monica came from does it. They literally are strategically tearing certain jobs off so they can collect a certain amount of money
to pay to finish the one behind.
jobs that have been sitting. It's fucking crazy.
And then that anxiety grows and grows, so you drink more and drink more and spend all your money doing fun shit to murder the anxiety of owing everybody something.
Yeah, because, dude, roofing's a great business. Like, you can do a $90,000 job in 4 or 5 days. There's not a lot of businesses like that.
Yeah.
But you got to do it right.
Yeah. So I think, I obviously think Kaysen, if we're that size, definitely needs help. I think another guy on the road will have to be a part of it.
Yeah, and then another girl in the office too. One more person in the office because
then obviously
Kesley's workload is not a one-person job if the volume continues to grow.
Right, the permitting
Permits,
becomes
estimating, and admin.
Permits become a one-person job if you add TPO and an extra $10 million.
Yeah, permits and admin I think can be combined. Estimating turns into a beast. Though.
It is already.
It's too much outside of that.
Yeah.
We give it back to the salespeople.
And then obviously you'll start with the estimating and whatever we need for the commercial flat, but that's got to become somebody's job because that's a whole different animal. Going up, finding rooftop units, somebody's just got to be with Dean the whole time and learn how to estimate accurately.
Well, I'd be pissed if we only hit $15 million this year.
Of course you will. You'll have a dirty diaper on and I'll have to go, well, $15 million in fucking 5 years. It is a bigger jump. It's attainable. It's possible.
Dude, when I hear about people's growth, like I should be satisfied even if we just did like 13.
There's
13
roofing
off of 10.
There's established roofing businesses in our market who have been in business for 12 years who are happy with their $8 million a year right now. Right now, all over the place. They're all over the place. That's like there are people who are like, I'm so fucking successful. We do 8 to 9 million a year, and they're done. That's it. So like, congrats, brother, you made it. But I understand. There's roofing companies that are doing 140 million a year. That I do think location is going to become a thing. Second location will have to become a thing.
Not yet. I think
right, but I think you can.
We're 2 years away.
I think you can only get so high in one market.
But yeah, I want to be the best for sure, hands down. Yeah, and biggest, best and biggest before we spread somewhere else. Which means like we need one solid GM to take this. We're the best roofing company in this market. This person's the GM, and now let's go start another one. Once we're already the best and the biggest, I don't want to do it until then, because that means there's just market share here that we could collect. And why split our efforts before we've done all we can do here?
But if there was a bad enough storm, 2.5 hours south,
then it makes sense. Then
market,
it makes sense. Then
bang.
it makes sense.
There's 3 years of automatic work right away.
Yeah, then you just do it.
Yeah.
Then you just do it. I think maybe even what you just said. If the storm on the West Coast happened now,
right,
we might do it now.
I said that to Rick. I was like, if we were set up like we are right now, when the West Coast got decked, somebody would have been there for sure.
Yeah, but dude, we had no Rick, no Lexi.
It was me and you and Sam. Kaysen wasn't doing his job
no
now.
Kesley even.
Right.
Yeah, no Kaysen.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's a different.
It was
fucking
impossible.
Thing. It's a different thing.
You asked me. You want to go live in Sanibel?
Dude, because the way I feel about it now, I feel like I could leave and nothing would really change. Like the leads come.
Yeah, I feel like you could do what you're doing to generate more leads from wherever you have to
Right.
be. I feel like we could maintain morale and productivity without you at the office every day, if we had to. You could go do 6 months of groundwork setting up, and you and I could take turns once a week going and checking on it. If it's 3 hours away, go once a week.
Yeah, there's some little tasks I still do that would have to get worked out, but like nothing major. Like I still make the schedule. Which
Kaysen's close.
there is some thinking with the schedule, some big thinking, but Kaysen's close.
And if he has support, he can be your fucking shadow every time you're working on it.
Yeah, he's gonna start doing that this year too, though. If he can stay out of fucking jail.
Jail. Clink.
Nah, that was bullshit.
That was bullshit. Actually, what wasn't bullshit.
I talked to his mom.
Uh-huh.
His mom was like, "So where does he stand with like you? Like, does he have a job? He's such a he can't keep his nose clean." I'm like, "Kaysen? Yeah, he has a fucking job. I love Kaysen."
Did you say? You know what you should have said? You should have said, "He's not a fuck up." Nothing could be further from the
that's what
truth.
I'm getting to. I was like, "Yeah, no, Kaysen's very important over here. Like, we need him. I love him. He's with us. He definitely has a job." And she's like, "What does he even do there?" I think she thought he was like out like cleaning up jobs and picking nails up off the ground. I was like, he's the production manager. He orders all the material, like make sure everything's where it needs to be. He does a lot over here. She's like, "Oh, lives in my house. I don't even know him."
Yeah, he's the man. I walked in this morning. I said, "So what's next?" He's like, "Oh, I got court whenever." I was like, "All right." I was like, "Let us know. We'll write you a letter." He's like, "What do you mean write a letter?" I was like, "Just say that you're an important part of the company. We really like you. Think you're respectful. You made a mistake, obviously, but you came to work every single day after." He's like, "What's that do?" I was like, "It's a fucking character." I was like, "Do you have a lawyer, dude?" Like, they take that shit into consideration. Your employer's views on you. Like, just put Andy's phone number on it. They'll call him and they'll say, "Yeah, dude, I can't do it without him." You fucked up one night. He learned. He knows. I guess I don't see much. I think that's it. Increased office support. Someone for Kaysen would be a huge one. Lead volume's the big one. But it's coming, right? You got appointments every day for everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
It's coming. It's tough to not be impatient with something like this, You feel like, I don't know. It's with everything, though. Like, why isn't it happening? It is happening. It's just not happening every single day.
It's been happening the whole time. But
Right.
I'm like that. You feel like it's like you're not making it. There's not enough leads. There's not enough this. There's not enough that. But just look at the past couple of years. When was it just me, you, and Sam?
That would that would require.
January or February?
Of last year?
Kesley hasn't been here the whole year. And Kesley was there before Kaysen and before Lexi, before Eastley, before Rick.
Kesley was there when Kaysen came back?
Yeah, but when Kaysen came back, he came back as a material runner. So, like, he wasn't...
Oh, right.
He hasn't been a
guy.
piece of the office for long at all.
Yeah, I guess it is.
Remember he was going to quit?
Brother, hang tight.
I was like, well, he's like... he was like talking about quitting, how it sucks. I don't know why. He was like looking for other things. He's telling me he wanted to be a truck driver, telling me he wanted to do this, he wanted to do that. So I had to talk to him, like, what do you want to do? And he's like, dude, I can do anything. I was like, all right, we're going to see. And he was right, motherfucker.
He's like, for real? He's like, for real? I'm a fucking genius. And I went, turns out, that boy's bright. He's just quiet.
Yeah, so think about that. January, February, I don't know I don't know when all that, but earlier this year,
earlier last
It
year.
was me, you, Sam, and Monica.
Uh-huh.
That's it. And
Yeah.
now it's us three, Rick, Kesley, Lexi, Kaysen, Glenn, Isla. You know what I mean?
You got hella fingers, brother. Start counting roofers. You run out of extremities. You'll be counting hairs. 1, 2, 3.
So it's cool watching it grow, but I'm with you. It doesn't feel like it is. It never feels like it is.
I don't know. To the fucking moon, I guess. So we got to put a bow on this somehow. So let's put a bow on it. Yeah, I mean, I just feel like
Doing some toot?
do a little toot now. I can't believe you're gonna go work out after this.
Yeah, I have to. All the internet people that you listen to on the internet giving everybody advice always like to talk about how December's when everyone falls off. This is when you should be intense and stick to it and pass everybody. I fell a little short in December.
We took appointments until the 23rd of December.
Had a little too much fun in December. So I got to work out. I got to get back.
I appreciate it. I respect it.
I don't regret it, though.
All those guys on the internet are talking about they're not talking about trying to sell roofs. It doesn't matter how hard you push. People are like, no, you're not tearing my roof off on December 26th.
It's just work in general. Like,
Yeah.
I definitely didn't work as hard in December as
I felt
did
it.
the rest of the year.
I felt the exact same. I would show up and I'd be like, no.
Yeah.
I just let shit build up. I spent 3 hours in the office this morning cleaning up contacts.
Mm-hmm.
I just let shit build up, and I'd be like, I gotta get out of here.
Right, so that does hurt you. But at the same time, like, I had a lot of fun. I had a good fucking time.
Yeah, dude, you can't be a fucking psycho for 52 weeks a year.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. Maybe we make our Christmas in April from now on so that we're the only savages going nuts in December. But it's impossible. People's families come, people leave town, people have, it's just not, it's not a good time to be trying to sell people re-roofs. So, you fucking shoot hoops, ride motorcycles, wait for the first of the year, and then go, fuck, I have so much to do.
No, it's good, though.
Sam, I knew in my head that I was going through like a bunch of my old follow-ups that I hadn't talked to in a couple weeks, whatever. People I know are waiting for certain things, whatever. And I was like, I'm going to do it. And then Sam sent me a list of names that were incomplete tasks, and I opened it, and mine was like 15 long, and I was like, God damn it, I knew it. It didn't take too long. It was like 2 or 3 hours. I called everybody, got everybody off the list. Mm-hmm. But it's just like, I would look at it and be like, I mean, it's December 27th. Who wants to hear from me? Mm-hmm. But we're back. We're rolling. It felt normal by Wednesday or Thursday this week. Like work did. The first day back, I was hurt. New Year's Day, I had a New Year's Day. Mm-hmm. I should not have.
Me too, dude.
You had a New Year's Eve, brother. So I felt like shit on Tuesday. Wednesday, I was still carrying it around. I don't think I felt good either, but like I said, probably just depleted anything my body had. Mm-hmm. Today I feel better, but still look like shit. Yeah, that's it. It's just more fun. That's it. It's just more fun.
What's more fun?
Doing this fucking job than anything else I've ever done. Being in construction is just more fun. Even the worst day is better than just like your average. And for me.
There's a lot of ways to make money on the internet for anybody today if they want to do it. I'm an 18-year-old kid. There's this guy telling me he could teach me how to make 10 grand a month on the internet doing whatever the fuck. Would you tell him to pursue that or to go get a job like we started?
I'm going to tell you something right now. That I can get you 10 grand a month on the
Well,
internet.
no, hold on. Don't use that, though, because I want to hear your honest opinion. Because there are ways to make 10 grand a month on the internet.
There are. No,
for sure there are.
right,
Legitimate ways you can do that.
Right, but
Just
what I'm
sitting
saying.
at home on the computer, you can do that.
Right, but what I'm saying is that guy who sells that course, that's how he's getting his 10 grand a month.
Oh, for sure.
And the keys he's giving you are jump off pieces.
Right.
So, is it worth $389 when you're 18 and have $411? No. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm with you. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Most of those guys are fucking scam artists.
Right.
But there are legitimate ways that you can make 10 grand a month
For sure.
on the internet. Mm-hmm. As an 18-year-old kid, is it worthwhile to pursue making money that way? Or to just get out and work blue collar like we did?
I don't know anybody personally who's doing it. Mm-hmm. I have no experience with it. I know a lot of people who work blue collar trades even people who don't own the business and still do well for themselves. I know a lot of people who do own the business and do really well for themselves. I just don't have any network of friends or anybody really who does that. Mm-hmm. So to be honest, look around you Yes, there are people who do it, but I think they're a lot more few and far between than the guys in your town who are making 150 grand a year, changing water heaters.
Yeah, I mean, and all right, say this 18-year-old kid figures out how to make 10 grand a month on his computer at home by himself. Mm-hmm. What the fuck does that life look like? He's pale, he's out of shape, he's got no fucking social skills. He's got no girlfriend.
Dude,
he's got no friends. Don't do that. Just don't do that unless you thought all that shit through and you have a plan. Like, all right, this is how I'm gonna make my money, but I'm also gonna go out to the gym. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna fucking play beach volleyball or softball. Like, this is how I'm gonna make friends, have fun, and become a normal member of society.
This is a lonely existence.
Don't just be this fucking guy, because then you're making 10 grand a month, but you're paying.
You look like Count Dracula,
and you're paying $5 grand a month to OnlyFans.
At least. At least. I don't even know how much those cost, but that boy.
Dude, this girl, way back when I had a Tinder. I matched with this chick. We talked very briefly and then never talked again. Mm-hmm. But I ran into her in downtown Stewart, like not long after. Mm-hmm. Maybe, no, a little bit after. And she remembered me and she came up and gave me a hug. And that was it. Never saw her again. She messaged me on Instagram recently. So like after a long time. I guess she follows us. And she messaged me on Instagram. She's like, hey, I need to do my taxes. And the lady that always helped me actually died. Like, can you give me who you use? And I was like, sure. What's your business? Like, you're self-employed.
I'm a private contractor.
You're self-employed somehow. No, she just told me straight up OnlyFans. And I was like, my account isn't going to work with you. She's like a commercial CPA firm that works with business owners. Like, I don't think you can go in there with your subcontracting agreement from OnlyFans.
She might be able to, though.
But they're out there.
She might be making $10 million a year, dude. She could be making $10,000 a year. She's making at least $5 grand a month off of the kid sitting in his basement making 10 grand.
I don't knock it. If you're a woman and you want to make money that way, I don't knock it, Because compared to your other options, if you have no skills, I don't think it's good for the soul.
That's brutal.
I don't think it's good for the soul.
I don't think it's good for the long term.
Yeah, I don't. If you play that out.
Because you know what's great? Making 18 grand a month on OnlyFans. You know what's not great? When you look up one day and you're like, I only made $2,200 this month, and then all of a sudden you're like, nobody's paying me anymore. I'm just putting my privates on the internet.
And then what do you? And then what do you do? And then what do you do when you're that girl?
You become a roofer.
Yeah, there's not.
Start roofing.
We don't have to get into details, but I've had these conversations a bunch of times.
I don't think we need to get into details, dude.
And it's like they make all this money for a time, but what the fuck are you gonna do when you're 35? And no one's willing to pay you, and you have no fucking skills, no work experience, and you live this lavish life.
Brother, settle down. I'm going to be 35 next year.
What are they
I'm hoping my subscribers stay true.
But what the fuck are all them going to do? Like, you don't use their brain?
I'll be 34 next year. I just stole a year from myself. I have no idea, dude. It's an obvious problem. People, when cigarettes came out, were like, these are the best. I'm going to smoke them forever. And then you have lung cancer, and there's no going back.
You wish you still smoke cigarettes.
Like, more than anything.
3 times a day.
Yeah. Right now? Yeah, dude. It's like you do something because it's fine at the time. And then later on, someone goes, you have stage 4 lung cancer. I'm not saying having an OnlyFans in your 20s is equivalent to stage 4 lung cancer when you're 50. But,
dude, there's some amazing things with the internet. But the internet world's fucking a little creepy and a little dangerous.
It's chaos.
If you are actually looking to the internet to live parts of your life, to socialize, to look at women, even if you're just on the internet making money by yourself at home, I think you're a fucking weirdo.
Yeah, dude, look at Gary Vee. If you want to make 100 grand, go to garage sales. Get up 6 a.m. Go to garage sales.
He fucking hates Gary Vee.
I can't stand him.
But dude, I like Gary Vee, and I don't watch him because
fuck you, Gary.
He basically says the same fucking thing over and over again. But before this run at starting to make videos and do all this, I'm like, you know what I'm gonna do? Because I know I need to do it. I'm going to watch Gary Vee and get pumped up about why we're not producing content. So I put on Gary Vee.
I agree with that part of his message.
And now we're producing content.
He's got to stop telling fathers with their 2 children at home that it's time to quit their job and go buy coffee mugs. They're not going to make $100,000, Gary. You're fucking ruining people's lives.
Dude, he doesn't really have a big, broad message. He says the same shit over and over again.
Yeah.
Produce content, get on social media. What the fuck are you doing?
Go to
and
garage
then
sales.
sometimes the garage sale baseball cards.
I made $5,000 on spoons. This would be the one to go viral, and Gary Vee will fucking lose it.
Well, he likes the Jets too, so.
Oh, well,
Sorry for him.
he's a fucking, well, we can't talk about it right now. We're on a losing streak.
You don't never know what's going to happen in the play. I say that with zero hope. Zero optimism.
No, I got plenty of hope. Because Deshaun Jackson said today, he's like, this looks exactly like, I forget what year it is, whenever the Ravens won the Super Bowl. He's like, they went on a 5-game losing streak at the end of the season and dominated in playoffs.
The Ravens did?
Yeah. He was like, and look at that team then. He's like, I think something's happening in that locker room. And I was like, hope you're right, or else I'm going to be jumping off of that bridge.
Okay, let's wrap it up.
Okay.
What do you got for closing statements?
Fucking don't go breaking my heart. I don't know, dude. You always do that to me. Why do I have to be the one who ends it?
Learn a trade, get a real job. Don't make your money online, spend it on OnlyFans.
Yeah, and also, if you're on OnlyFans, comment below.